Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this session we're going to discuss what I alluded to in the first one, which was step 4, the creation of player characters. Now, when I was developing my playtest rules, I wanted to try and keep the situation as random as possible. And I did realise that there was sections in the Dungeon Master's Guide, in the random dungeon generation tables, whenever you had a character encounter, and also in the wilderness, whenever you had a character encounter, they had a section devoted specifically to random parties. So I thought, well, why don't I use that as the basis of generating my player characters? So I gave it a shot, and I was actually quite pleased with the outcome. It certainly generated, with a few prompts, which I'm going to detail in some of my guidelines and outlines, a satisfactory party of characters that had the right balance between the classes and abilities. So I'm probably going to do much the same as I did with my video on settlements, which is to go through the rules that I'd utilised, my guidelines, which kind of shaped where they went, and then show you the player characters that I produced, and then potentially, if we've got some time, generate our own little group of player characters. So to start with, I've got, I jotted down some of my ground rules when I'm using this part of the process and generating my PCs. Now, within this, there's an overall role generation rule kind of principle when it comes to things like the nature of encounters. So whenever I meet human encounters, I'm assuming that 10% of any human encounters will be with a female. So obviously it's a medieval kind of environment. It's a patriarchal societies, male dominated. However, it's still probably got more scope for females to basically develop themselves as individuals in professions and sort of avenues of life, more than were in Middle Ages. So because it's a fantasy context, I want to try and encourage that. So whenever I have say an encounter with an artisan or whatever, there's a good chance that they'll be female. Also, any human encounters, 10% of them should be potentially with a demi-human. And I can use the page on Dungeon Master's Guide, page 176, which has a random generation of demi-humans. So this little subtable here, where we have a good spread. This is also used in character creation, where we can see what the chances of multi-class is. And again, within that percentage, I'm saying that 10% of them will be with a female of that race. Now, when it comes to adventure encounters, it's a different type of context. I would say that these represent the elite of anybody in this society. So I'm saying that there's a much higher chance of them adventurers being female, so I put it up to 25%. And there's also a 20% chance of adventurers being from the demi-human group. And again, that 20% for demi-humans is already part of the Dungeon Master's Guide. I'm sure it says somewhere that yes, it does say back in this actual, as the introduction to this paragraph, this table, it's saying, it suggested that non-human characters and henchmen are about 20% of the total. So with that out of the way, I think we can go on to the specific character party generation rules that I've been looking at. The focus of them will be the tables on page 175 to 176. I'm planning that there should be a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 5 level 1 characters generated in the party. When we're generating the stats, we'll be using the 4d6 method with the minimums and the necessary abilities guaranteed. So because we've already generated the class, we know what the minimums are. So when we're going through with our 4d6 and selecting the best of the 4, if one of the stats, when we say we come to charisma for paladin and it's 14, we'll artificially increase that to the minimum necessary. So there is a bit of flexibility in this, but it's only really to get us up to what is required for that character based on its class. I talk about the option of using a stats generator. This is one of the online ones that I'd seen which generated random characters. However, I think I actually preferred using my own dice rolls. I think most players prefer rolling their own dice and generating their own abilities. Another rule that I thought would be useful in giving some balance to the party would be that 50% of the party shouldn't be of the same class. So a maximum of, say, out of a party of 4, a maximum of 2 would be fighters, for example. Sorry, I had some technical problems there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video now and I'll continue it later on this week. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.